Persona 3, the JRPG that gave Western fans a taste of the gameplay, where you mix high school Japanese life with destroying big piles of goo in dungeons. It is the third Persona game. No, it's not. Huh? There are 2 Persona 2 games, so that makes this the 4th Persona game. Okay, already! Persona 3 is the 69th Persona game and one that kickstarted the weebs' love of the franchise. Now, since the game came out over 10 years ago, you might be thinking, the fandom would be a lot more dated than the Persona 4 one. But you couldn't be further from the truth. Despite its huge status, a lot of fans actually didn't play this game until after coming in from the Persona 4 and 5 hype cycles. Hence, a lot of the fandom actually didn't discuss things through low quality JPEG memes, unlike Persona 4. Well, okay, I mean there still was quite a bit of that, but fans were able to look back onto this old game and pump out plenty of memes from it. And probably the most notable and overused one was the thing you screamed when you leave your toast in the toaster for a bit too long. Persona 3 has some catchy songs, and yes, people love to meme them. Firstly, you have when you start a battle, and now fans would edit this song onto a battle start from other franchises. But back to burning your bread. A misheard lyric to a song is now one of the most famous memes from the game. And of course, the passionate singing led to fans making tons of edits. But the best thing to come out from all of this was finding out that Aigis is a toaster, and she will also burn that bread. What started out as a joke of calling her a toaster led to the creation of this thing. Combined with people's love of dating robots, led to Aigis becoming the fan favorite best girl in Persona 3. I mean, this is a game that has so many female characters, and you don't even meet her till mid-game. But even so, she rose to the top amongst the fans, which could be attributed to how great her voice lines are. Oh yeah, trust me, this isn't the end to the English voice acting memes from this game. But the love of Aigis from the fandom led to her becoming the official mascot of the game. Yes, in a franchise that has a cat and a bear for the other games, and an actual playable dog character in this game, the toaster instead became the mascot for Persona 3. And so after the number 1 waifu, we would naturally move on to number 2, who is actually a big surprise fan favorite as she is.
I've been waiting for this.
Now here comes Akihiko. I mean, he's gotta have his turn. He's been waiting for this moment for a very long time. Its origin is from him asking you if he can beat up the monsters. Because yes, this boy is very strong.
You see that, Shinji?
Jeez, this fandom really likes to meme every single voice line that this game spat out. Speaking of which... Now here comes the surprise fan favorite, and I do mean that, because initially, what with her awkward English voice acting and dialogue, the fans really didn't like her at all after its release. But as with any non-popular character, the few fans rallied around her with fan art and memes over the years, and I can now say she is the second favorite waifu in the game. Get out of here, I don't even know who you are. But yes, Fuka is the second favorite female after Aigis. Yes, I know it's shocking, no need to keep gasping. Now YouTube won't really let me show too much of this in detail, but the mechanic of summoning your persona in this game, well, its intense nature, led to fans memeing it whenever another character did a similar action in another franchise. Maybe that's why they changed it to a pack of cards in the next game.
This is a tough case, even for Junpei Iori, ace detective.
Ace detective? Are you stupid or something? More like stupe, ace defective.
I am the one, no way, your son,
Heal me, please.
Out of my way!
I know this isn't the only game series to have a character like this, but she really likes to try and charm people. While you're dying over there, she instead would rather pull the moves on a shadow. I guess you gotta have a very high IQ to talk to her.
You're unworthy of my time.
Now, as with any Persona game past the turn of the millennium, it's going to get remakes, ports, spin-offs, stage shows, manga, anime, and other nonsense. So after the main game was done, you had Persona 3 Fez. is. And the most notable thing from that was the inclusion of the answer. And it contained an epilogue and, well, let's just say, some fans really didn't enjoy it. I mean, sure, some were happy that they got more Persona 3 at the time, further explaining the story, but then again, with some characters and their personality changes in it, really annoyed a bunch of the fandom. And maybe because of its apparent canon status, that it was able to shove Yukari down the waifu ranking. I mean, this is the main female lead, but instead you have ahead of her a gasping blue girl and a toaster. And so next on the list was Persona 3 Portable, which brought in the introduction of the one, the only, female main character. Now let me tell you, a lot of the fandom really love her. And not just because she's a waifu. I mean, she's able to keep Shinjiro alive in the game, so that he can dance. What a great alternate ending! The game itself was met with all-round praise for delivering something unique to the same story. But you run into problems in the fandom when you consider its implications. Because there can't be two main characters, right? I mean, there's either alternate dimensions, or she doesn't exist. And this was the stance ATLUS took a few years ago, that she didn't exist anymore. Time and time again, people would ask ATLUS to bring her back, but they would just respond with, huh? Female main character? And thus she disappeared from existence. So firstly, Persona 3 was included in the spin-off Persona Q with the P4 characters. I mean, that wasn't new, they already fought each other in them fighting games. But anyway, in Persona Q, there was still no inclusion of the female main character. And fans truly gave up hope when ATLUS let the male main character and a dead boy come back to life to dance again. That all changed with the Persona Q2 reveal in 2018. Cue the fandom erupting in joy as their girl was brought back, and will most likely be back in the other games as well. Just putting this here in case certain DLC is released, okay? Who cares that ATLUS forgot about that kid Ken in Persona Q2? She's back and that's all that matters. Now while all this was happening, people also started to wonder one thing. How the heck did the main protagonist make it back to dance all night? I mean, it seems to be a pretty hard thing for him to do, considering in fact, you know, he's a door. Ah yes, the male protagonist, with his charming blue hair, hipster headphones, and a sturdy wooden frame. His sacrifice of turning himself into a door to save the world now has everyone calling him Mr. Door. No, seriously, that's his name now. I didn't even bother going into the canon name discussion from the manga like the other Persona videos. Everyone just agrees that that is his name, which is why it was so amusing when he was brought back to the dancing game. That grave there be ripe for the picking, ATLUS. Now this needed its own section as this was the first game in a few years to even reference Persona 3. Oh yes, you still had tons of fans wanting the HD remake, because it really needed one. But before ATLUS can even attempt that, they needed to practice making the HD models. And what better place to test them out than in a dancing game. And I mean, the fans literally went nuts at this reveal. Now of course, you had plenty of memes from it, and I'm sure more will come, what with the game's Western release at the end of this year. But let's not forget that even amongst all this, Persona 3 was technically already a dancing game. Alrighty, let's get into the harem game, I mean JRPG. You got a male main character, you got females, you get fandom ships. So the big three are Door with Mitsuru, I guess, or Elizabeth. And I guess you can throw in Yukari as well if you include what happens in The Answer. Other ships that are pretty popular include Mitsuru with Akihiko, Junpei and Chidori, and Kenji and the protagonist's mum. Oh wait, that never happens. And well, uniquely for this game over the other two harem ones, is that you had a female protagonist. So of course you can ship her with the guys. Although don't ship her with Ken, please. The most popular one in the fandom is her and Shinjiro because come on, she literally saves him from death. Of course that's romantic. And then of course you have the gay ships. And undoubtedly the most popular one, at least in Japan, is the MC and Ryoji. Because yes, this is official art. And I guess for the Western fans, the most popular one there would be Mr. Boxing Darling and Mr. Dead Dude. Now for the female gay ships, well, the game actually hints at a ton of them without going all the way, meaning that there are quite a few fan favorites, with notable ones being the female MC with Yukari, MITSURU, Elizabeth, or Fuka. And then the big one by itself is Yukari with MITSURU. And any one of those ships are fine. I mean, hey, it is a harem game. But please, whatever you do, ship the dog with calling him a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And finally, the YouTube fans, where you can find them jumping on a big YouTuber making a mistake on who is who, to laughing at people complaining at how hard the game is, or quoting the many meme voice lines mentioned earlier. Trust me, that's a huge part to this fandom. Then you have the usual, people uploading funny scenes XD from the anime, making dubs on that Persona 4 comic but this time relating to this game, or just uploading amazing things that I can't even begin to describe. And that was all I could fit into this very short video about the Persona 3 fandom. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm actually shocked at how big this fandom currently is. I mean, the games were released over 10 years ago, and you would think it would just be full of outdated JPEG memes. I mean, it still has that, but since most of the fans came in recently, the fandom is actually quite huge with the amount of attention some of the memes get. The fans really do know how to brighten up the dreary tone from the game. I rate this fandom, out of 10. And as to the fandom's future, well, I mentioned how big it is and I don't see that stopping. With ATLUS bringing the characters back and seemingly everything ready for a remake, this fandom will continue to grow with no end in sight. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of this fandom? You got robot waifus, edge to fit a 2-story house in, and a door that dances.